Hello. It's fuck, what time is it? It's 6:56 and it is spring, which means the sun should be rising. Now, I could say, okay, this is like a Sigma grind set productivity moment, and I'm like, man, I woke up, now it's time to work out or whatever. Truth is, I had a flight. Hold up. I have a flight back to the UK today. Now, I thought that flight was at 7 a.m., which means I have to wake up at around 4:30 to make sure I made that flight on time. Now, turns out that flight is not at 7 a.m. That flight is at 4 p.m. So I went to bed and I woke up a lot sooner than I had to. And when I found out that the flight wasn't at that time, wasn't at 7 a.m., and it was in fact at 4 p.m., and I actually had to go to bed early and I had to wake up early, I was grateful. I was really happy that I was forced to go to bed earlier. I was really happy that I was forced to wake up early and to fix my sleep schedule. I was really happy that I've just gained the opportunity to have a couple extra hours in the morning. Now, I thought to myself, fuck, that's a big mindset shift, because I guarantee a year ago, 2 years ago, an X amount of time ago, I would have been very upset. I would have maybe been upset at my mom for not checking the flight on time or whatever, even though that's more my responsibility. I would have been upset at the fact that, I was stupid. I didn't check. I would have been upset at the fact that I was robbed of my hours of sleep and my hours of comfort. But instead, I approached this situation with gratitude, not on purpose, as I do most of the time when I practice gratitude, but by no choice of my own, by sheer habit, I guess one could say. And now I have the opportunity to watch the sunset happen. Now I have the opportunity to look at a sunset which I haven't observed, which I haven't watched in, I was gonna say years, maybe months. Wow, look at that cruise. Oh, that's so sick. Man, life is fucking beautiful, dude. Holy shit, life is beautiful. When I started thinking about the sunset, I remembered I realized how if this was done years ago, if this was done, a year ago or more than a year ago, I would have thought to myself, man, this is gonna be a beautiful smoke sesh. This is gonna be a beautiful view that I get to smoke my joint to. And now instead, I stand up here holding this camera, talking about gratitude, and that being one of the keys to happiness. We've come a long way, man. We've come a long way. And I'm really, really grateful for that. I'm really grateful for that mindset shift. I'm really grateful for that mindset shift. I'm grateful that I have the ability to have that mindset shift, like everyone does, realistically. You have that ability to. If there's one thing I can say for certain, is that when I started practicing gratitude, when I started being consciously grateful for everything, I started appreciating life so much more. We just came back from the Algarve with 7 weeks in the south. And when I was leaving, or when it was time to leave, again, this might not sound real, or this might sound like I'm making it up, or this might sound like motivation, grind set, Sigma shit. I genuinely, this is genuinely true. These are genuinely my feelings. When it was time to go, I remember I was sitting at the table. I think we just finished dinner. I was like, oh mom, we're leaving tomorrow, right? And she looked at me with like a little bit of a disappointment face. And she was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, that's so sad. But to me, I didn't experience that sadness for a moment. all I could think is, fuck, I'm so glad I get to go home and get a couple more hours to work on my new simulation stuff. I get to go home and spend a little more time working on my editing stuff. I get to go home and wake up early in the morning, fix my sleep schedule, get on a flight and go back to the UK where I can, for no fault of my own, through no control of my own, sheer luck, can afford a quality education without having to work. You know, I studied in the US for 2 years before I started studying in the UK. And for my first year there, I think actually one of my first YouTube videos on my main channel is about that. I think it's Overcoming, something like that. And for the first semester, I think for the entire first semester, for months, I felt like the US was a prison. A prison of my own construction because I chose to go there, but a prison nonetheless. I didn't feel grateful for being there. I felt like I was being punished. I felt nothing but resentment to my former self and my current self for letting all of this happen. Of course, parents, whatever. Now, in the UK, the weather is worse. The school's nice, and the people are nice, of course, but the US was also nice. The school was amazing. The people were great. Very, 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 very good friends. Not much has like fundamentally changed between the US and the UK. Besides me. Besides my mindset. Now, like before, I remember when it was time to fly back to the US, I would sit there and I'd be like, fuck man, I can't believe I'm going back. Like, I hate this shit. Like, man, I can't, like, I really don't want to go back. I miss Portugal, the fucking shitty infrastructure ass country, fucking violent ass people, whatever. And when I was in the US, I would think, man, I really don't want to go to fucking Portugal. I have to pack. I have like 20 hours door-to-door flight. Oh my god, this is so fucking annoying. I'm just complaining, and all this negative mindset. Now, when I go to the UK and I'm faced with an early morning rise, I see that as an opportunity to fix my sleep schedule. When I go to the UK and I feel the weather, or I start to think about the weather and how the weather's gonna be shit compared to this beautiful weather, I don't think, oh fuck, I'm gonna hate myself, I'm gonna be depressed. I think, wow, what an opportunity to be able to have a home in two separate countries. What an opportunity to be able to care about the fucking weather. Imagine, I have the ability to worry about something as so inconsequential as the weather when there are people worried about their next meal. When there are people worried about the safety for of their families. This daily gratitude is simple. Even if you do, of course, I come from I don't have a humble background. I've been blessed. So of course, I understand why some may look at what I'm saying now as a little bit out of touch. Because, oh, you have everything, what is there to be upset about? What is there not to be grateful about? And I am empathetic to that position. It is easy to look at those that have stuff that you don't have, such as maybe material conditions or whatever, and think they don't know what they're talking about. They're completely out of touch. And that might be true to an extent. I don't know your personal issues. I am not in your head. I do not know what troubles you are facing personally. But what I do know is that suffering is universal. Suffering is a universal component of the human condition. And no matter how wealthy you are, no matter how poor you are, no matter how handsome you are, ugly you are, strong you are, weak you are, you will always face suffering. That is an inevitable component of the human condition. The only question is, how do you respond to that suffering? Do you use that suffering to leverage you forward in the world? Do you use that suffering to forge excellence? Do you use that suffering to build a better, stronger person? Or do you use that suffering as an excuse to remain weak, to remain unhappy. Too many of us have grown comfortable in our conditions. Too many of us have grown comfortable in our suffering. And again, I'm speaking from personal experience. I love complaining, okay? Well, I loved complaining. Complaining is fucking fun, man. It's great to have a super externalized locus of control. It's super great to say, I have no personal responsibilities. I didn't do any of this. It was past Lorenzo that decided to go to the US, right? It was past Lorenzo that decided to move to a country where the weather was shit. Oh, it's not my fault. These were the only opportunities I was given. Oh, it's not my fault. I'm limited by X, Y, and Z. Oh, it's not my fault. I'm ugly. Oh, it's not my fault. I'm kind of fat and low-key, like, maybe if McDonald's was more expensive, I wouldn't be fat, and it's that fault. Oh, it's capitalism's fault that I'm depressed. Instead of having an internal locus of control, instead of saying it was Lorenzo's fault for moving to the school, it is current Lorenzo's fault for not seeing the beauty in this moment. It is current Lorenzo's fault for not making this opportunity, this moment of suffering, an opportunity for fulfillment, an opportunity for happiness, an opportunity for growth. Again, you may say that I'm speaking to you from an ivory tower. And again, that is not in my control. I did not choose to be born into favorable material conditions. I did not choose to be born with a sharp jawline. I don't know, man. But I did choose my happiness. And I also chose my suffering. And that's the message that I really want to push. And the first step towards that happiness, the first step to choosing happiness and rejecting suffering, no, not rejecting suffering, embracing suffering, is gratitude. Because again, what you're not trying to minimize the pain, the suffering, you are trying to embrace it. Now, what I'm about to say might sound incredibly out of touch, but maybe if I leverage some Buddhist thinking, it'll make me sound more in touch to the average person. But this kind of mirrors the story of Siddhartha, right? The Buddha, how he was born into, okay, chill. Okay, I'm not that like wealthy. I'm just saying, where he was born into insurmountable wealth. He had everything he ever asked for. He had access to any food he would like, any woman he would like. All riches and all wealth was within his reach. And because Siddhartha was born into a completed game, he felt no mission, he felt no purpose, no direction. There was no challenge he had to overcome. There's what do they call the valedictorian speech or whatever? There's a graduation speech, I think done by Mark Rober, where he says, if Super Mario Bros. Was about jumping over one gap and then you get Princess Peach, nobody would ever play the game. And there is this thing of the human condition, of the human spirit of overcoming. To feel fulfilled, to feel like we have achieved something, to feel happy, we have to feel like we overcame some obstacle. And being born without those obstacles, you will quickly find that because you're human, your mind will create them. Realistically, if you're watching this video, you're probably out of touch of the average person. If you were born in the West, consider yourself lucky already. You know, you could have as easily been born in a village in Africa, maybe without access to the internet, although that is quickly becoming less and less realistic as every day goes by, thank God. It's easy to point to others and say they are the haves and I am the have-nots, despite us still having a lot. Gratitude isn't finite. Gratitude can be infinite, and you can be infinitely grateful for your things. And it's all a matter of perspective, right? Like right now, dude, I'm fucking cold. I'm really cold. But I'm not thinking about that. Because there's a phrase, right? Like the grass is greener on the other side. In truth, the grass is greener where you water it. And if I choose not to water my coldness, if I choose not to give attention, to give energy into my coldness, then my coldness will not limit me. Then I will not think about it. if instead I choose to focus solely on making sure that I'm looking into the lens and not into the viewfinder, if I focus solely on the fact that this sunset is gorgeous, then the cold quickly disappears. I think I've said enough for this video. So I'd like to spend the remaining couple of minutes just sitting here and watching the sunset with you, if you do not mind. Let's find a nice, cute little spot where we can do so. Oof, this bush got absolutely destroyed because of the storm that we just had. Holy hell. Holy crap. Holy crap. We are over the edge of the house. Well, not over the edge, damn chill, but we are in a tight little spot. Now, I am not a fan of heights. I'm not a fan of heights, so we're gonna stay a little away from the edge because I do not want to die today, motherfucker. Okay, I love being alive. We are gonna sit here and we are gonna watch the sunset together. Bro, I know I wasn't paying attention to the gold, but it is cold as a motherfucker. Look at those colors, though. Wow, man. You know what? Let's just sit here. I put myself in the shot. Would that be cinematic? It's gonna be like cinematic. Is that cinematic? Just be here. Oh, that looks sick. Hold up. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm gonna turn up the mic. Oh. Man, what a blessing it is to be alive. What a blessing, man. Dude, if this glass breaks, I will fucking die. Okay, chill, bro. Let's just watch the sunset. ADHD head eyes. Sunrise. I keep calling it sunset. Sunset looks like the colors of the bi flag. Okay, chill, bro. What am I saying? The sun is up, I'd say. Well, I don't see it yet, but I don't know when the sunset is meant to end. And honestly, I don't think I have the attention span for this, but wow. This has been a beautiful sunset, and I hope that I hope that you recognize how important gratitude is. I hope that you become more able to be more grateful in your life. And I hope that you become a happier person, because you deserve it. We all deserve it. And yeah, I think that's a nice little place to leave this video at. So yeah, if you need anything, let me know. I love you so much, and I'm grateful for your attention. I appreciate it so much, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.